A client wasn't sure if they could manage their own investments in their SIP or ISA, or even in a general investment account. And this is a common problem that clients come to me with. They're not sure. So I thought what I would do is break down the why, the where, the how, the when of investing. Now, this is relevant whether you've got 30 million in a company account that you're looking to manage yourself, or you've got $250,000 in your pension or general investment account, whichever way it is that you're looking to invest. So let's start off with the why. The why is really simple. We're looking to increase our money. Just to put some numbers into it, and there's no guarantee of this, you could do 15% per annum, which is the longer term average of the S&P 500 over the last 15 years. You double your money in 5 years. Think of it like buying a house, doubles in 5 years if the rate of growth in the market is good, which is out of your hands. If you manage to get 20% per annum, which would be leading hedge fund quality kind of return, then you double it in 3.8 years. For me, the difference between 3.8 and 5 years is not that great. So I wouldn't get too greedy about it. Okay, so that takes us with the first point. What's the next point? What I want to show you now is the what. Let's look at the what of investing. What are we looking for? We're looking for undervalued companies because we know they do better than overvalued ones. That means lots of profits per share. Growing companies, growing sales and growing profits. Sales are the top line, profits are the bottom line. With a strong track record of doing so. How do you discover a track record? Well, we look at something called the Sortino, and this is what we teach the clients. We give them all the data, and then we filter 10,000 stocks into the top 200, which meet all of those criteria. Do they tick the value box, the growth box, and the track record box? We're looking for good balance sheets, i.e. lots of assets for the price of the stock, lots of profits, so good P&L, and lots of cash flow, so good cash flow statement. What we're then looking for is, well, wait a minute, what makes you think that these things work other than common sense? Well, we then show the clients Goldman Sachs and Warren Buffett and Nobel Prize-winning literature to prove this point. If you want to look at it yourself, some of it's available on www.alpeshpatel.com/shares. What are we watching for? What are the mistakes that we want the clients to avoid? And we'll dive deeper into the how and the when of investing in just a second. But one of the biggest problems that we have with clients is to make sure they don't get bored and they don't panic. There tends to be something called a recency bias. A recency bias was discovered by the Nobel Prize winner Kahneman, which is you put too much weight on what's happening today, not enough on the consistent track record of the company. What I want from clients is that they tell me their risk capacity, what they believe initially they could take a fall in the value of the portfolio without them panicking or losing sleep. For some, it's 10%. For others, it's 20%. And as they invest, they discover what the actual number is. Okay, so everything we do has to be based on evidence and hypotheses that have been tested. In other words, are these companies undervalued? Do we know undervalued companies perform better than overvalued ones? Is this company growing? Do we know growing companies perform better than ones which aren't growing? Now, again, you might as well, it's bloody common sense, Arpish, that undervalued growing companies would tend to do the best, but I think it's worth looking at. What about when? So the client asks me, well, when do we do it? When do we know to enter? When do we know to exit? And I keep it very simple for them. I say, you're not going to try and time the market because you're not a professionally trained hedge fund manager. Okay, put those arguments to one side. You're not going to try and time it because Nobel Prize-winning literature suggests you probably shouldn't. Now, whilst we give them data and information that they might want to just tweak their entries, on the whole, starting point is, my friends, you're not going to time it. If you're worried about getting into a market because for whatever reason, and I'm not a salesman for the stock market, I'm not a broker, I'm not a fund manager, okay, I'm a hedge fund manager, but we don't deal with retail clients. I just educate people. I educate them through all my books and everything else that I've written in the Financial Times and so on. If you're worried, then dollar cost average in. If you were going to buy £10,000 of, say, Microsoft, you buy 3,000 this month, 3,000 the month after, 4,000 the month after that, and every 12 months you rebalance. If you have 40 stocks, 2.5% in each, you go back to 2.5% in each after 12 months. Okay. And in between, you don't worry about it. Well, what if one stock goes up 1,000,000%? When that happens, we'll worry about it. Don't think about all the hypotheticals before you need to. Okay. So we keep it really simple and we base it on the evidence which is out there from the stock market on what works, what doesn't. So that comes on to the how. And you might think, well, you're running through this really quickly. Well, actually, if you look at all my free materials, you'll see I go into a lot more depth. But I just wanted to educate you what happened to this client. So what about the how? Well, you choose a broker. Okay, good brokers like Interactive Brokers will have low foreign exchange currency rates, and they'll pay high amounts of interest on cash, and they'll have access to a lot of securities. There are very few brokers which tick all three boxes. A lot of them will secretly charge you a lot for buying American stocks, which are the highest growing ones historically. They'll charge for converting the currency from sterling to dollars and back again, a lot of money. So whilst I never get sponsored by brokers for the simple reason I want to be arm's length and tell you, there are some which are better than others, obviously. Have a look at their latest numbers on Interactive Brokers, Free Trade, for instance. Hargreaves Lansdown tends to be quite expensive. So does AJ Bell. So brokers, that's the starting point. If you're listening to this in Australia, Canada, or America, get in touch. We'll work out a list for you. Pension, you got to use the right wrapper. How are you going to do this? It's better to do it in a wrapper, an account which is tax-free, like a pension or an ISA or a 401k, than it is a general investment account. If it's a general investment account, you're a company, you'll pay 25% on profits. But guess what? If you accumulate those profits by not trading actively, but let's say, for give an extreme example, in 10 years you sell your portfolio, we wouldn't do that, rebalance annually, then the profits don't keep getting taxed, and so they compound. Okay, you're getting the tax man to pay for your returns effectively. So that's another reason not to trade too frequently, but to invest, even if it's a general investment account. How much? Well, you hold more cash the older you get. So if you're 90 or you're about to retire tomorrow and you're risk averse, you probably want to hold all cash. Okay, even if you're going to retire in a year, you probably want to hold all cash. I, as a general rule of thumb, say hold enough cash to meet expenses for the next 2 years. Why? Well, because then you're not a forced seller in a down market, but also you get peace of mind. If you want the precise numbers, we created some free tools at www.campaignforamillion.com/tools. And there you'll find the free tools. How frequently should you look at your portfolio? Well, the frequency at which you look at it doesn't move stock prices. So we said to this client, I went to their home to meet them and said, look at it maybe once a year. If you've got other things to do, keeps life very simple, and rebalance annually. You might say, well, Harvey, what if it goes a lot up? And what if it falls a lot? Well, we allow for the fact that out of, say, 20 to 40 securities at 5% in each to 2.5% in each, some will fall. And as Warren Buffett famously said, at the time he became the world's richest man, some stocks will drop 50%. If they're good quality companies, they'll be the type you'll want to buy more of, or you won't be worried about it all anyway. And that's the mistake private investors make. They try to be right on everything all the time, and they're wrong, because the world's richest man is what you want to go by. So what about these then? What about if it's overvalued? Well, we look at the data, not the narrative. People will say, oh, the stock market's overvalued. Well, let's look at the data. Well, what about the news, Alpesh? Well, you're not a trader, so you don't need to look at the news. The news becomes noise. What about my stock fell? No portfolio sees every stock rise. Only hold what you'd buy more of if it fell. What about my stock skyrocketed? Well, rebalance annually. The simplest way to keep the portfolio in shape is to do that. What next? Well, where can I learn about all of this? So let's have a look at that. We look at companies, not countries. Where should I invest? Companies, not countries or sectors, because it's a company you're investing in. So it doesn't matter. And all companies are international anyway. So you don't need to say, I want a Chinese company or I want this particular sector. That should all come out in the wash. Okay. Now, you could also, as we create for clients, model portfolios as an educational tool for them so they can see how it looks now and how it performed historically. That's a great educational tool. It's probably one of the most useful things we do on the Great Investments program. Okay. Basically, the final check is this. Can I explain why I own it, how much I own, and when I would rebalance? So you can answer all of those. It's very simple. And that's what we help the clients to do, to be in a position to answer all those questions. If you want to manage your own portfolio, whether you've got $250,000 or you've got 25 million and you want to learn more, well, first of all, get in touch with us. We'll give you the education. Almost all of it's for free. We'll show you the data that you need, the process that you need, so that you can get on with it. We're an education mentoring service. We don't charge subscription fees. There's no ongoing fees and charges. We don't manage your money. We're not a broker. We're not a fund manager. Whilst I am a fund manager on the institutional side, retail clients don't need the fund manager. They don't need the hammer of a fund manager ripping them off with fees in order to be able to do it themselves. My job, taken from this book, is to educate you. And whilst past performance is no guarantee of the future, we make sure that clients understand all of those warnings properly so they can have a good night's sleep. That's the goal. Thank you very much.